I'd like to thank you for watching our podcast. Today we're looking in 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, starting with verse number 3. Now, we ended yesterday with these words of the Apostle Paul out of verse number 2. And he says, who regarded us as if we walk according to the flesh. And when he talks about the flesh here, he's talking about not his carnality. He's talking about the physical flesh. It's the Greek word sarx, and it means your physical flesh. So he's saying, some people, all they look at when they see me is my flesh. And he says, I'm weak. I don't have a place in society. In fact, the Apostle Paul probably was not the best looking person to look at. He had all kinds of scars. He was beat up. There was a possibility he only had one eye left after stonings. The Apostle Paul says some people, all they do is they look at my flesh. They look at my physical body. And so we go on now in verse number 3. He says, though we walk in the flesh, what's Paul saying? We're living in the flesh. We're living in physical bodies. All of us are living in physical bodies. You who are watching us by video, you know what? You are seeing my physical body. This is me with all my blemishes, with all my hair like this, with my goatee like that. This is me. I am in the flesh. I am in my physical body. He is not talking about being in the flesh as far as carnality is concerned. He's talking about his physical body. So he says, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. This is something that we need to understand. The Apostle Paul is going to begin to talk about warfare. And he's saying, you know what? We don't war physically. We don't fight physically. And he says, we do not war according to the flesh. Now, he's not being an anti-war person. What he's talking about is the spiritual warfare. And we do not fight spiritual warfare with physical power. That's what the Apostle Paul is getting at. And then verse number 4, he says, for the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh. Our weapons. We are in a war. If you haven't noticed that you're in a war yet, it's time for you to wake up. We're in a war. It's not a war where we fight with physical weapons. Our warfare is not in the flesh. Our weapons are not flesh-based. It's amazing to me how many Christians spend so much time on their flesh and so little time on their spiritual strength. So Paul says, for the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh. And then he goes on and he says some amazing things. He says, for they are divinely powerful to the destruction of fortresses. What are they? They are divinely powerful. Now, divinely powerful, the Greek word for divinely is theos. It means God. These weapons that we have are powered by God, not by physical strength, but they are powered by God. The source of this weapon's power is God himself. Just think of that. God, the omnipotent God, the God of all power, has given us a weapon that's all powerful. It has no limitations to it. How many of you know your physical body has limitations to it? The army of your country has limitations to it. But the weapon that God has given you to fight this warfare has no limitations. It is divinely powerful. And what does it do? It's divinely powerful for the pulling or for the destruction. The King James says pulling down of strongholds. The New American Standard says for the destruction of fortresses. What's it capable of doing? What's it powerful of doing? The weapon that you have is so powerful that it can pull down fortresses or strongholds in your life. Destroying means to cast down. It actually means to totally demolish a stronghold. Fortresses are places that have been fortified. In other words, a fortress doesn't happen overnight. A fortress is something that you have placed inside of your mind, and we're going to talk about that probably tomorrow, maybe yet today. But it's a thought. It's a speculation that you placed in your mind, and you worked at it over and over and over and over until it's become a fortress, till it's become a place that's built over time, a place that's built many times to provide safety. How many of you realize that many of our fortresses are places of a false safety? And we put these things and we build these things in our mind to protect ourselves. And that's what Paul is talking about. Now, let's move on into verse number 5. We're probably not going to finish it today, but we'll go back to it tomorrow. What are we destroying? What are we demolishing? Verse number 5, we are destroying speculations and every lofty thing raised up against the knowledge of God. When the Apostle Paul here talks, he's not saying we're destroying people. He's not saying we're destroying ourselves. He said we're destroying these things that we've allowed to build up in our minds, these fortresses that we've allowed to build up in our minds. We are destroying them. And what are these fortresses? What is this weapon used to destroy? It's used to destroy speculation, and the word speculation tells us that they are thoughts, they are reasonings. How many of you realize our greatest enemy that we need to overcome is the way we think? If you can think right, you can win. If you can destroy false imaginations, and many times false imaginations that have come into your mind, into your life, that you built up to even protect yourself. We need to take the weapon that God has given us, and we need to destroy those thoughts, those reasonings in our lives. Now, we're going to pick up with verse number 5 tomorrow, so I hope that you join us. God bless you. Thank you for watching.